Hi, everyone. My name is Coach AJ, and I'm a certified holistic health coach with the Institute of Holistic Health. I'm here today with my good friend, Victor Dedaj, and Victor has written a new book, uh, How to Be Happy, Healthy, and Whole. And Victor is also a certified holistic health coach with the Institute of Holistic Health. Victor is a nutritional expert and a New York native and one of the more intelligent people I've ever met. Victor, how are you today?
I'm doing great, AJ. It's great to be with you. How you doing today, my friend?
Doing pretty well. Doing pretty well. So just to start, what prompted you to write the book? I know that you've written many books, but what prompted you to write the book, How to Be Happy, Healthy, and Whole?
Well, AJ, I've been looking around my friends, my family, and just in society as a whole, and I'm just saying there are a lot of people who are not doing well with their health. They're having a lot of struggles with their health. They're having all kinds of chronic illnesses. And I think one of the major reasons is because they don't have the information. They don't know what to do, but they've been fed wrong information, and it's hurt them with their health, and they're struggling. And you know what? And you and I both are holistic health coaches. We look at the whole person. So we look at it physically, mentally, spiritually, the whole person. And when everything's working together, you're going to be happier, healthier, and whole. So I've been studying over the last number of years, reading a lot of books, taking courses, watching a lot of videos, trying to get as much knowledge as I can to share that with the world to help as many people as possible. Because here's the thing, a dying person, the only thing they're concerned about is their health. They want to regain their health. So I don't want people to be at that point where they're struggling with that. I want people to really enjoy their lives, have us get as much out of their lives as possible. And by sharing this information, I believe we can help a lot of people with their health and be happier.
Okay. But then why do you think so many people are not healthy?
Well, there are a few reasons for it. One is psychological. They self-sabotage because they have it in the subconscious mind. And sometimes they know some of the things they need to do, eat better quality foods, less junk foods, exercise more. But because of the way they've been brought up or limiting self-beliefs about themselves, even though consciously they want to live a healthy life, they find ways to self-sabotage. So they'll do the things that'll make them sicker, that'll make them put on more weight, and a lot of it's because of that limited self-belief. So they self-sabotage. Another reason is they just don't have that information. They've been told the wrong information. They've been told, for example, high carb, low fat diets are healthy. They are not. They've been told vegetable and seed oils are healthy. See, they are not. So they've been eating a lot of foods which they thought they were healthy and avoiding foods that are healthy because they've been told they're not healthy, such as eggs. So they've been doing a lot of things wrong, not because they want to, but because they thought they were doing the right things.
Hmm. So what you mentioned uh, high carbs and low fat. What do you think is a healthy diet typically?
Well, again, it's not the fat that makes you fat. If you look at lions, carnivores, they eat a lot of fat. In fact, when a lion kills an animal, he goes after the fattiest part of the animal. He doesn't go after the lean meat. And I've never seen a skinny lion. I don't know about you. I mean, a fat lion. I've never seen a fat lion. I've seen a lot of skinny lions. And you look at herbivores like a rhinoceros. They eat a lot of carbs. I have never seen a skinny rhinoceros. And think of it this way. When farmers want to fatten up their animals, what do? They give them carbs. They give them corn and grains. Yeah, so they don't give them fats. So there are obviously bad fats. For example, trans fats are very bad. So not all fats are good, but there are a lot of good fats. Butter which was demonized for a long time, was actually a good fat. And we found out margarine, which was heralded as a health food, is actually very bad for your health. So carbs were told for us for decades, and this came with Ansel Keys in the 1950s. He said, get rid of saturated fat, worry about cholesterol, and and eat more carbs. All of that has been bad advice, which has led to a whole host of chronic illnesses, skyrocketing diabetes, skyrocketing rates of cancer and heart disease. So it's because of stuff like that. And another thing that's also caused a lot of health problems is our food is nutrient deficient. And we know that since 1936 when the Senate document saying that the nutrients are not in the soil. So we're being, people eat fruits and vegetables, but they don't have the nutritional content that they did 100 years ago. So even if you think you're going to get everything you need from your diet, you are dead wrong. You will also need to supplement as well. You need to eat a good diet. You can't just supplement and not eat good food because you can't out supplement a bad diet. They work together.
Okay. So what are some of the other myths that you're familiar with as far as what the standard America, what the average American person would think is a healthy way to live, but in fact it's counter and in fact really detrimental to their health.
Well, one of the things they've been told is not to eat eggs, and because they say, well, eggs have a lot of cholesterol, and outside that they want cholesterol as well. Eggs are one of the most nutritious foods you can eat. Probably the only thing that has more nutrients than eggs is uh, human mother's milk. And but people, we've been told for 50 years it's got a lot of cholesterol. But here's the thing: first of all, eggs really don't change the amount of dietary cholesterol in your blood. Number one. Number two, cholesterol is actually a good thing anyway. You need cholesterol. A big chunk of your brain is made of cholesterol. You need it to make vitamin D. It's needed in the production of bile. It's needed in the production of the sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So without cholesterol, there would be no human race. So it's involved in a lot of functions. And cholesterol is so important that your liver makes about 80% of it. And over the last 50, 60 years, which doctors have been prescribing drugs such as statins to lower people's cholesterol levels, it is also correlated with an increase in dementia and Alzheimer's disease. So because people have lower levels of cholesterol in their brain, so those diseases have skyrocketed. So those are some of the myths. Another myth is people should be on low salt diets. You need salt. It's needed by the cells in your body. It's needed to create stomach acid. And it does not really raise your blood pressure. The thing that really affects your blood pressure is the insulin resistance. And the things that affect that more is really your sugars, your carbs, and the vegetable seed oils. But salt has a minimal effect on it. Many studies have shown that. In fact, think about it. During the 15th to the 19th centuries, people were eating tons of salt. There was no skyrocketing in heart disease. In fact, if you look at the countries that have the highest longevity rates, such as Japan and South Korea and France, they all eat high salt diets. And in fact, many countries that eat lower salt diets actually tend to have higher rates of many diseases and higher rates of death. So that's another myth. Low salt diets are healthy. They are not. Feel free to have some salt. It's good for you. And also, when you are exercising, you drain a lot of salt, so you become salt deficient. So you really should make sure you get enough salt in your diet. So those are some of the myths which I think a lot of people don't know about that is hurting their health. And cholesterol, again, the cholesterol is good. And one more thing about cholesterol, it's not the cholesterol that causes the issue. It is your triglycerides. But the pharmaceuticals have not been able to find drugs that could treat the triglycerides that they focus on the cholesterol. And even the so-called bad cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol, is actually a lipoprotein which carries the cholesterol. There are actually two types of LDL. There's the small, dense type, which is dangerous, which can clog your arteries and cause atherosclerosis. But there's also another type of LDL that is big and fluffy, which is actually harmless. And that's something most people do not know.
I didn't know that. So supplementation to supplement your diet. Uh, I noticed in your book you mentioned one nutrient out of we know that our bodies need 90 nutrients every day, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 to 3 essential fatty acids. So we're familiar with that concept. But you took a mineral and you spotlighted it, magnesium. So what supplements do you recommend people take, and why did you spotlight magnesium as something that's we're chronically deficient in?
Um, Magnesium, I believe, is the master mineral. I think is the most important one. Most of the magnesium is in your heart. So that tells you how important it is. In fact, in many emergency rooms, they actually keep magnesium in there for people who have heart attacks. So it's really helpful for people who have heart attacks. It's important for heart health. It's important for your blood pressure. And it works together with, with calcium. Calcium is a muscle restrictor. So it makes you put your hands like this. Magnesium offsets it by working as a muscle relaxer. It makes you, put your hands like this. So that's why that's another thing. Some calcium is another extremely important mineral. In fact, a deficiency in calcium can lead to, I think, about 150 diseases. But if you have too much calcium and not enough magnesium to offset it, it can cause calcification, which will lead to atherosclerosis and hardening of the arteries. And, so you definitely want to avoid that. And unfortunately, most people have too much calcium in their diet and not enough magnesium. And when doctors prescribe channel blockers, the best channel blocker is actually magnesium. So it helps your blood pressure, it helps you relax, it helps you sleep more. It helps with blood sugar and diabetes issues. It helps with migraine headaches and headaches in general. And it also acts as a bit of of an antidepressant. So originally they thought it was like it was involved in 300 to 400 enzyme actions. But Dr. Carolyn Dean, who wrote the Magnesium Miracle, thinks it's involved in anywhere between 600 to 800 actions. And the thing is, the water system in many cities used to have magnesium in it, but most of them do not. So people have been losing magnesium. Also, as the foods have become much more processed, when they process foods, they take out certain things. They've taken out the potassium, they take out much of the fiber, and they take out much of the magnesium, and they don't put it back in and but they often keep the calcium in there, so people are much more deficient in magnesium than calcium. So that's been some of the reasons why people are deficient, and deficiency is actually both calcium and magnesium leads to a whole bunch of health issues. So you really don't want to be deficient either one, and you want to keep those ratios balanced. At the very worst, it should be a 2 to 1 calcium to magnesium ratio, maybe even 1.5 or 1 to 1 calcium to magnesium. And there are many other important minerals. Like you mentioned, we need 6 of them, and vitamins need the minerals as a cofactor. Vitamins cannot work without the minerals. And the way minerals work is if it's not in the ground, it's not going to be in the plants. So plants can sometimes make vitamins if it gets enough water and sun, but they cannot make minerals. So, and that's another problem with a lot of deficiencies in minerals. I think selenium is another important mineral. It helps. It's an anti-cancer fight. It helps with the thyroid. It helps with heart health. So that's no. And potassium too also helps with blood pressure. It helps with heart health as well. So and then people are deficient in a lot of these. I think those are probably 4 of the most important minerals. And like you said, there's 60 of them, and people are not getting enough of them. And it's led to a whole host of diseases as a result over the last 50, 60 years.
Sounds like a delicate balance that our body needs to, operate. Not too much, not too little. It sounds like a real delicate balance. But you mentioned sleep. What are your thoughts on sleep? And then exercise, you mentioned briefly. What do you think about exercise and sleep? How much? Why is it important? What's the relationship to our overall health?
Well, let's start off with sleep. Number one, children, babies, teenagers, they need it to grow. They need it to develop and they learn better. They've done many studies, identical twins. They've done studies where the twin that gets more sleep tends to do better in school than the twin that does not get enough sleep. And they grow more. It leads to a better health. And they've done studies. People don't get a lot of sleep, say less than 6 hours. Number one, they have more health issues. They are hungrier. They are more prone to get diseases such as cancer. And there's a myth that especially I used to be in the core world. In the core world, they tend to like people who don't get enough sleep and get in early, say 7 o'clock, and stay till 9, 10 o'clock. They think that those are the go-getters, get everything done. Here's the thing: if you don't get sleep, you actually tend to be less productive. You don't work as well. You make a lot more mistakes. People who get more sleep tend to do better at work and make fewer mistakes, and they are much more productive. And they also did studies with teenage drivers in a few cities. When they made the school start time very early, say like 7:30 in the morning, there was a high rate of car accidents among those teenagers. When they pushed it back, the start time to say 8:15 or 8:30 or 8:45, they noticed that there was a decrease in the rate of car accidents among these teenage drivers. And the reason was they were getting more sleep. So you're more awake, you're more alert if you get more sleep. So sleep it helps with so many different factors. And especially the younger the kid is, they need more sleep to grow. And obviously teenagers need a little bit less, but they still need more. So you should get a minimum 7 hours sleep, preferably 8 if you're an adult. And uh, probably 30% of this country is what's called sleep deprived. They probably only get 6 to 6.5 hours of sleep, and it leads to a whole bunch of issues. Now, exercising has a lot of great health benefits, great cardio benefits, heart benefits. It helps you feel better. It helps with blood sugar issues, helps with blood pressure issues. So I highly recommend exercising. Just a couple of things I would caution about exercising. Number one, you do not want to exercise before you go to sleep because you're going to feel a lot more energy and you're going to have trouble sleeping. The other thing is when you're exercising, you're not just burning off the toxin, the sweat. When you exercise, you're also burning off you're sweating out nutrients as well. So you need to supplement and replenish those nutrients after every workout because if you don't, you're going to become nutrient deficient. And again, that can lead to a whole bunch of health issues. So after a good workout, make sure you are supplementing because you and I both know that saying. Supplement exercise without supplementation is suicide. That's why sometimes you see the high school quarterback drops in on the field. They have no idea why. Most likely the reason is even though he was like working on exercise, he probably wasn't supplementing and he was nutrient deficient. That is most likely what caused him to die, unfortunately. So make sure you supplement after working.
It's a wealth of information, buddy. It's see, I see that you know your stuff. Uh, you know, in your mission daily, is it is it one of your goals to help just your neighborhood? Who do you look? Who do you want this book to reach, and who do you think it could help?
I think the book can help everyone. It's there's so many people struggling with health, not just in our country, the United States, but worldwide. The rates of chronic diseases have been skyrocketing all over the world, not just in the Western world. They've been skyrocketing in Asia. They've been skyrocketing in Africa and many other parts of the world. So I think because a lot of people, number one, don't know this information. A lot of people, unfortunately, have been exposed to the Western diet, which is has a lot of junk food, highly processed, nutrient deficient, and it's led to a whole bunch of diseases and illnesses, which many people in these what are called primitive civilizations did not have 30, 40, 50 years ago. So people need to learn this information, and I think pretty much anyone around the world can benefit from it. So I like it. I want obviously my family and friends first and foremost, but pretty much anyone that wants to get this information, definitely read it and just implement what you learn in that book. And I guarantee you, over the course of several months, you're going to see your health improve. You'll see your numbers improve when you go see your doctor if you implement the things that I teach in that book.
Well, it's fantastic information. I just have one last question. This is maybe a tough question out of your league. I'm not sure. But what about I get a lot of people who want to help family members, and these family members are very hesitant and don't want to know the information because they take their doctor's word as gospel. What do you think we can do to help some of these folks come over and see another side of the coin and to take their own health into their own hands?
Well, here's the thing, and yeah, obviously we all have that issue. Sometimes the people close to you think they will listen to you. They think they know you, so a lot of times they're not going to listen to you. But, we see it in the Bible. A lot of the people closest to Jesus did not listen to him when he was trying to preach to them, the kingdom of God. So this is not the first time it's happened. Unfortunately, all you can do is offer. You can only propose, you cannot impose. But you know what? Share the information with them. You might plant the seed in them. They may not listen to you now because, like you said, a lot of times they just believe what the doctor says. And unfortunately, a lot of doctors, they don't one thing they don't know a lot about most of them is nutrition because it's rarely taught in med schools. Very little nutrition is taught in med school. but you can plant the seeds. You can mention the information to them. Maybe you have some clients that have done really well, so you may want to share some of their testimonies with your family member. But I would say don't push it too much because if you push it too much, you might just turn them off more. So I would just say plant the seed. Share a couple of testimonies. Maybe have one or two of your friends talk to them. But if they're still stubborn in their ways, don't worry about it because they're going to observe you. They're going to see your health is going very well. They're going to see the people you're working with, their health is improving. So maybe by observation, maybe down the road, a year or two or three, they might reach out to say, hey, you know what, that nutrition information you've been working with, can you tell me more about it? So just plant the seed and see where it leads.
Awesome, Victor. Well, it was a pleasure being with you today, and I wish you nothing but success with the new book. Where can folks purchase the book?
Sure, they can go to Amazon and they can purchase a book under my name, Victor Dedaj, last name Dedaj, and the book is called How to Be Happy, Healthy, and Whole. It's on Kindle and paperback.
Fantastic. Well, it's good to work with you. Good to call you a friend, and we'll speak soon.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, AJ. Really appreciate it. Great being here with you, my friend. Have a great day.
Same here. You too.
Bye bye.